Alright, Ratchet and Clank soundtrack tier list. Now I have pretty much all of the mainline Ratchet and Clank games here. I excluded the mobile games due to the lack of them having an original soundtrack. But yeah, we're going to be pretty much going from Ratchet and Clank 1 in 2002 to all the way to Rift Apart in 2021. Alright, we're going to be starting it off here on Ratchet and Clank. When I hear this soundtrack, it just reminds me of the early 2000s. Just banger after banger, all really good, really great actually, I'd say. But on the grand scale of my tier list of an absolute banger to bad, I would say it's a very good soundtrack. It's just a bit shy of being awesome. Alright, moving on over to Ratchet and Clank 2. In this soundtrack, it focuses more on like an orchestra feel, like a live orchestra feel. Because Ratchet and Clank 1 had more of like a techno-esque kind of feel. But Ratchet and Clank 2 is awesome. All those songs that I just played just feel like Ratchet and Clank, and I think it's just gonna have to go in awesome. Alright, Ratchet and Clank 3. Now this game also has like a live orchestra feel. It pretty much feels similar to Ratchet and Clank 2, but in my opinion, I feel like it doesn't have as many good tracks as Ratchet and Clank 2, but it is still an awesome soundtrack. It's just a bit shy of being better than Ratchet and Clank 2. Alright, Ratchet Deadlocked.
Yo! Ah!
No words even have to be said here. This is easily one of the best soundtracks, an absolute banger. Like just literally the first track that you hear when you go into Dread Zone. That song feels like Darude Sandstorm 2. It pretty much has like the techno-esque feel of Ratchet and Clank 1, but they just went gun-ho. It's just an absolute banger. Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. This game definitely is not the favorite in the group according to the fans, but I think it's an absolutely great soundtrack. Like the songs that I just played for you, those are so nostalgic to me. I think it's gonna have to go in good right below Ratchet and Clank 1. Alright, Secret Agent Clank. Now, this soundtrack has more of like a James Bond, secret spy-esque soundtrack, which, it's a secret agent game. But it's pretty unoriginal, I think it's gonna have to go in okay. It's not bad, it's not really good either, Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction. Those three examples that I played only scratched the surface of this soundtrack's greatness. There's not a single dull moment in this whole soundtrack, which is why I think it earns its spot in an absolute banger. Just above Ratchet Deadlocked, but that's no disrespect to Ratchet Deadlocked. It is still an absolute banger of a soundtrack. But Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction, an absolute banger. Alright, Ratchet and Clank Future Quest for Booty. The only track that really, speaks to me is the one track that they kind of did a rehash of. There was a song in Ratchet and Clank Tools that they did a rehash of, and it's like the main theme of it. But that's like the only good track, which is only a rehash of a song in Tools, so I'm gonna have to put it in meh. Ratchet and Clank Future, A Crack in Time. Now this soundtrack is kind of simplistic. It has atmospheric type of tracks in it, which they're all really great, but overall it's a very good soundtrack. I'm gonna have to put it right here in between Ratchet and Clank and Size Matters. Ratchet and Clank All for One. This soundtrack, it's pretty average, pretty unoriginal. I'm gonna have to put it here in the meh tier. Alright, Ratchet and Clank Full Frontal Assault. Now, one thing I will give to the soundtrack is that it has an excellent main theme, but other than that, it's just all pretty average, I'd say. But overall, I'm gonna have to say it's pretty okay, right above Secret Agent Clank. Alright, Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus. Before doing this tier list, I could not remember a single song from this whole game, not even the main theme. You know, I don't know, it was just all really forgettable. I'm gonna have to put it here in meh. Ratchet and Clank, the remake. Now with this soundtrack, it takes everything great about the first Ratchet and Clank game's soundtrack, and it just takes it and it just simplifies the tracks. Like, here's a few examples. But just overall, it just ruins the vibe of the original soundtrack, so I'm gonna have to put it here in meh. It just ruins everything good about the first game's soundtrack. It's just a bad remake soundtrack, in my opinion, of course. Alright, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Now, it would be preposterous if I were to say if it was bad, because I do own a record of it, and that cost me 40 bucks, so I can't say it's bad. But, all jokes aside, it is a great album. It has a live symphony, orchestra feel. It's a great soundtrack. I'm gonna have to put it right here, right between the first game and Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time. But yeah, guys, this is my tier list. Agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments. And other than that, I'm out.